The government of Canada has just announced some new rules when it comes to purchasing a property here in Canada. Let's break down these new rules and what could happen to the city of Toronto when it comes to real estate as we move forward in the fall market and into 2025. I'm Michael Ouzas. I'm a realtor here in Toronto. If you ever wanted to book in a call to discuss what exactly these new rules mean for you as a prospective buyer, you can click on that first link in the description down below. It's been some time since the government of Canada has come out with some new rules. Back in 2017, the Fair Housing Plan came into effect, and then the mortgage stress test also came into effect. Those are two things that really shifted things when it came to purchasing property in Canada. This month, the government announced that insured mortgages will increase from $1 million up to $1.5 million. And here's what that means for you. Under the old, or actually current rules, if you purchase a property over $1 million, you're required to put down 20% when it comes to that purchase for the down payment. As of December 15th, 2024, that number is going to increase to $1.5 million. So you can purchase for under 20% down up to $1.5 million. It's 5% on the first $500,000 and 10% on the difference. Now there is an element of mortgage insurance that will come into play there, and we won't go through that for the purpose of this video. However, it is a significant move forward, especially when the down payment is typically the crutch for most people trying to get into the Toronto housing market. Surpassing that $1 million mark is important for the city of Toronto when it comes to purchasing a single family home. In the condo market, this may not have a huge effect as of now, but in the detached or semi-detached market, we will see some activity pick up because of these new rules. Let's break down what these rules are one by one, because there's actually three that just came out. And you can go on the Government of Canada's website to get these rules more in detail. The news release was on September 16, 2024 by Chrystia Freeland, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. Here are the rules: increasing the $1 million price cap for insured mortgages to $1.5 million. And that's effective on December 15th, 2024. One thing we are still trying to get some clarity on is if you purchase today with a 90-day closing, would you be eligible for this new rule? So if you purchased a property at $1.2 million, for example, today with a closing date after December 15th, 2024, would these new down payment rules apply to you? Stay tuned for that, or drop a comment down below if you want the answer as we move forward, because we're still trying to get some really specific clarity on that. And they are trying to sell us that it's going to reflect current housing market realities and help more Canadians qualify for a mortgage with a down payment below 20%. They're increasing the insured mortgage cap, which has not been adjusted since 2012, to $1.5 million. And they're saying that this will help Canadians buy a home. One thing that stands out here, especially in a city like Toronto, is sometimes this is a be careful what you wish for scenario. If there are more properties in that $1 million to $1.5 million mark, which if you've been watching these videos, you'll know that the semi-detached properties in the city of Toronto were some of the hottest properties on the market this year. Typically, that's where they're priced at. Now, what could happen in theory is that more buyers who didn't have that 20% down payment, which may have been on the sidelines for those properties, could now enter the market and start competing for those properties, driving the prices up, because if there are more bids on these properties, inevitably there will be higher sale prices. I know that that's still remain to be seen, but it does make sense if those buyers that maybe didn't quite have the $200,000 to $300,000 down payment ready to go, but had something like $120,000 or $150,000 saved up already, which is a significant difference when it comes to savings. Those buyers now could enter the market to try and purchase those semi-detached properties, driving the demand up for those $1 million to $1.5 million properties. The next change they made is expanding eligibility for 30-year mortgage amortizations to all first-time buyers and to all buyers of new builds. This is a twofold announcement. The first one is that first-time buyers, typically, if they were getting mortgage insurance, so if they were putting down less than the 20% under $1 million, they wouldn't be able to qualify for that 30-year amortization to lower their payments. Typically, that was only an option available to buyers who had 20% down or more. They could opt for either a 25-year amortization mortgage or a 30-year amortization. Now, if you couple in the lower down payment required from $1 million to $1.5 million plus the 30-year amortization, it may bring more buyers to the table because the monthly payments may kind of start to balance out a little bit if you don't have the 20% down, but are still able to manage the payment. The next piece of this, which has kind of flown under the radar, is that they're allowing 30-year amortizations for new construction properties for all buyers. When this was originally announced, this was only for first-time buyers, but now it's for all buyers across the board. They're trying to spark more demand when it comes to new builds across this country, and especially in the city of Toronto, where we have seen one of the slowest years ever when it comes to pre-construction properties, especially condos in the city of Toronto. This 30-year amortization may help more investors come back to the market because their payments may be lower on qualification. That being said, the purchase price of these condos are still much, much higher than what we're seeing on the resale side. So I don't anticipate it having much of an effect as of today. If these buildings don't get built in the next few years, I think we'll start to see more of that effect in the future. And it does mention here, by helping Canadians buy new builds, including condos, the government is announcing yet another measure to incentivize more new housing construction and tackle the housing shortage. This builds on the budget 2024 commitment, which came into effect August 1st, 2024, permitting 30-year amortizations on first-time buyers purchasing new builds, including condos, as we just mentioned. Now, there was another piece to this that also flew under the radar, and that allows all insured mortgage holders to switch lenders at renewal without being subject to another mortgage stress test. And that's super important, that if you want to switch lenders when it comes to your renewal, and especially as renewals are coming up and interest rate has definitely changed in the last few years, you can now shop around your interest rate to other lenders to see who has a better rate for you or a better product for you at this time. So this is something that could also play a great factor, especially it does mention here with an insured mortgage, so anything under 20% down, to switch to the best, cheapest deal. Those are new rules. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think will happen to the Canadian real estate market, or more specifically, the Toronto real estate market moving forward, especially for that $1 million to $1.5 million mark, which is typically one of the most competitive markets here in the city of Toronto. I'm Michael Ouzas. Thanks for watching.